Welcome to the November edition of the Power Platform and Dynamics 365 Technical Update Briefing. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We're coming to you a little bit earlier this month than usual because of the Thanksgiving holiday next week in the US. If you have listened to the show before, you probably know the drill, but we'll be covering topics around Power Platform, Dynamics 365 customer engagement apps, and also Dynamics 365 finance and operations. If you do have questions during the webcast, please ask them via the Q&A chat available in the meeting. And we'll also be posting a link to a survey where you can provide any feedback on the update briefing in general. So let us know how we can make this better and make it more valuable to you. The slide deck we're using here will also be available for download. We'll again post some links on how to get that. And after the fact, we'll have the recording of this webcast available to you as well. So with that, we'll get started with some quick introductions. Today on the Power Platform and Dynamics 365 customer engagement side, we have Gilles Buevi, who will be doing the presenting. And then myself, Ryan Anderson, I'll be moderating and answering any questions in the chat. And so now I'll kick it over to Tom for the finance and ops side and to kick things off. Tom?
Great, thank you, Ryan. And my name is Tom Stump. I'm a senior customer engineer working with the finance and operations apps. I'll be answering the finance and operations related questions via the Q&A. Presenting some of the finance and operations content for us today is Senior Customer Engineer Brent Sokolowski. And with that, I will hand back over to Gilles to get us started.
All right. Thank you very much, Tom and Ryan. So, and also welcome everyone. So today we are going to get started by talking about the featured news for Power Platform in Dynamics 365. We'll be follow up with the finance and operations featured news as well. And we will go down to other topics as we do this through this presentation. So as a quick note, as the moderators have already mentioned, the content deck and the web recording will be available for you guys on the Dynamics blogs for download. All right, so let's get started with the Dynamics 365 customer engagement apps featured news. All right, so Microsoft Events on Demand in general is really your guide to Dynamics 365 customer engagement apps and Power Platform new features and capabilities. Right here, we are mentioning the Microsoft Biz Apps and Ignite event. Usually they will talk about what's new and what's next for the business applications portfolio, and how Microsoft is investing in our solution features and capabilities roadmap that essentially will help administrators and users. These on-demand sessions cover more topics that we can realistically cover in 1 hour and deep dive into these capabilities. So we're not gonna really give you the full list of all the contents. However, on the whole point of on-demand is to make it very convenient, as you can just go watch and rewatch the full list of the sessions on your own schedule and pace. You also have the capability by filtering the sessions based on session types, core theme, topics, solutions area, to make it very easy to navigate around. Biz Apps event happened on May 4th, and we just wrapped up the Ignite sessions on November 4th. So at the Biz Apps event, you can learn and catch up on content such as enabling innovation everywhere with Biz Apps, best practices for implementing Dynamics 365. I really recommend this one. And then also the real world stories, driving transformation with Power Platform. Those are all good contents because you can also learn from what the customer have been doing and then relate to them based on the stories that they have shared and experienced, driving their transformation with Power Platform. So 3 good suggestions here. So at the Ignite event this year for business applications, it was built mainly around 4 cross Microsoft teams. So the first one was empower people and organizations for a new world of hybrid work. This includes teams, leaders, innovations, the mesh platform into teams to introduce the emerging trend on metaverse technology. Those are very exciting contents there. The second team is innovate anywhere from multi-cloud to edge. Then build a hyper-connected business. And finally, around the security, where with the title protects everything with end-to-end security. So at Ignite, these are the list below is just few suggestions of sessions that you can also look around, where we suggest here around tools and services for data-driven decision making, accelerate innovation with low-code application, and enhance collaboration capabilities. But honestly, beyond this suggested list, there are a lot of other great sessions. So make time to catch up on other sessions for learning on innovative opportunities that can help you build and improve solutions on top of your existing platform. All right, so I'm gonna give the floor to Brent to cover the finance and operations apps featured news.
Hey, thanks, Giles. So there's a couple features that we'd like to make you aware of that are coming that are going to be rather large in content. The first one being is on our e-commerce platform. Starting this month with Commerce, you will be able to provide the most relevant and personalized shopping experience for your e-commerce customers based off the geolocation. So with this, it will detect the customer's geographic location based off of their browser session, and then it will automatically redirect them to the most appropriate localized site. So with this, you can provide things such as products, hierarchies, pricing, different delivery methods that are then tailored to the customers in that specific country or region. So if you're a global customer or a customer that has a global presence with different retail outlets, this will be very relevant as it allows you to get very specific to your specific location and tailor that to your specific customers. And all these preferences can then be saved for future use also. So something to check out, definitely a big change that's coming across the Commerce platform. Could I have the next slide, please? The other thing we'd like to showcase is if you're using our regression suite automation tool for testing purposes, with this, we are now supporting the running of this across multiple instances in your environment. So in earlier versions of the regression suite automation tool, we used a communication channel with finance and ops test environment that only allowed for a single use. And if you tried to run a second one at the same time, it resulted in exceptions. Now with this change, each test run can be started by our server. Each session that you start will generate its own browser session for communication that is isolated for that run. It's even possible to continue working manually in the environment while running your RSAT test. This can also be shared, or this shared information can be done across virtual environments. And if you are using DevOps pipelines, you can also utilize this. This will then allow customers to run large independent tests in parallel which will result in faster end-to-end execution times for testing passes. So overall, great change that's coming, which will allow for, if you're using a large set of testing suites, to run these in parallel, which should speed up the process substantially. So if you're using RSAT, I'd definitely recommend you look into this and utilize this. And with that, I'll pass it back over to Gilles.
Thank you, Brent. All right, so now let's cover the deprecations and retirement in Power Platform and Dynamics 365 customer engagement apps. So first, just a quick reminder here. Deprecated means we intend to remove the feature or capability from a future major release of Dynamics 365. So the feature or capability will continue to work and is fully supported until it's officially removed, right? So now, for the full list on deprecations and important changes coming awareness, what I recommend here is to bookmark the links on the lower right corner of the slide regarding the Power Platform and Dynamics 365 apps, and the second one regarding Power Apps portals, right? Now, I want to highlight here a few things in deprecated features chapter. So in October 2021 deprecated features section, the tooltips deprecated feature intended for October 2021 with the rollout of 2021 release wave 2 has been reverted. The product group will no longer implement this deprecation until further notice. So this feature is still available for customers to use without having to make any remediation plan, because we have reverted the deprecated status of the tooltips. Now, two other things I would want to call out here is for that will be happening in 2022. So in April 2022, we are retiring the WS Trust Authentication Service endpoint and the Organization Service Proxy. So the how to fix link that we provided here in this deck will help you determine if your code or application is using WS Trust and what should be done to fix the affected application code. So make sure you go out there, download this slide, click on the how to fix links, identify all the portion of code that is using the WS Trust, and have a plan forward to update all the deprecated features for the WS Trust, the deprecated code for the using WS Trust before it got retired sometimes in April 2022. Still in April 2022, we are pending additional information on the client global context.js.espx client API deprecation. So hopefully further information should be out by December 2021, and we will make sure to share all the updates on that as soon as they got available, so that you get prepared. The third thing I want to call out here is in November 2022, we will remove the OData version 2 endpoint. The solution is pretty simple. We recommend to use the Dataverse Web API, so the OData version 4 endpoint instead. And for your model-driven apps, you should be using the xrm.web API. How can you figure out which portion of code is using the OData version 2? You can leverage the solution checker to determine that and apply the fixes on that by just using the link that we provided here as well. All right, now let's move to all the release wave and service updates for the Power Platform and the Dynamics 365 application. So the first one will be about the public preview of the maintenance window management. This is the newest feature in managing updates for Dynamics 365 apps in Power Platform Admin Center. So this is an admin feature to give flexibility in scheduling applications and database updates. The platform updates will continue to be executed based on the region-specific times. One thing to call out as well is that this feature is only available for production environment. It might take up to 48 hours for the maintenance window settings to take effect when scheduled. So here we're just trying to provide you guys with the main source of information to understand our release waves, updates, and release cadence. So the Dynamics 365 and Power Platform release plans document. It's more for early visibility on what's coming in the major release that occurs twice a year, April to September for the release wave 1 and October to March for the release wave 2. The Dynamics 365 release schedule will give you visibility on deployment timelines and release plan for Dynamics 365 customer engagement apps, as well as the industry clouds. The opt-in to early access updates help you understand the opt-in process to early updates for Dynamics 365 environments and how to opt in to early access updates. The general availability deployment page, what it gives you is after the release wave is general available, all environments will be automatically turned on to receive mandatory updates, which will enable the early access features and the general available features of the release. So you will be able to see the general availability available features that will come from all the by each release wave that we release twice a year. Here are like 2 tips actually to stay informed. The first one is how can you actually as an administrator get notified when we have to keep you updated on all the news and release wave that is coming out. So you can stay informed with Message Center notifications for Dynamics and Power Platform and Power Apps. So for that, I would recommend to use the link here that will provide you the full details of how you can just, being able to get that notifications, right? You can also, the second one is you can also stay informed using email notifications to admins using Power Apps, PowerShell. So again, the second link that we provided here at the bottom of this deck will give you the step-by-step to use PowerShell to manage email notification to the admins. So those are very good tips, and I would recommend you to go and check them out. All right, so if you want to catch up or looking for capabilities in what has been released in Power Platform and Dynamics 365 apps in the 2021 release wave 2. So here we have broken down the capabilities for each apps in the Power Platform ecosystem for clarity and easy review of the features. So you have all the different links here for each apps and each services that comes in the Power Platform ecosystem, and then you can just go straight to to check the contents and news that you're interested in. Now, if you need some follow-up, feel free to reach out to Microsoft, your Microsoft contact, to provide you more insights. All right, so we just talked about the the release waves. Now we are switching to the service updates. In these sections, we're not gonna cover in details all the service updates across all the apps because there are multiple apps. The point here is to show you just the pattern on how you can get quickly access to the latest updates that has landed on your apps, and how you can also check on, all the hot fixes that are being mitigated in those service updates. So important point here, service updates are separated from the release wave deployments, right? So the release waves are usually customer-driven updates where new features and product capabilities are rolled into specific app based on the customer's feedback and the technology innovations. Right. The service updates contains more hotfix and updates to maintain and optimize the product stability. That will be the difference between the service updates and the release wave. Now, there are service updates for Dataverse, Dynamics 365 customer engagement apps, and other Power Platform apps. So we're going to start here with the Dataverse. Dataverse updates are typically deployed every week and reflect the environment update information, right? So at this point, the latest service update for the Dataverse is the version 2.1103. It will include all the hotfixes and updates for the Dataverse. So you can use that link to go out there and then to read the release notes if you want to have more information in what it includes in terms of hotfix and updates. How do you determine if your organization has received a service update? So it's very easy. You just need to actually click on the gear icon in the upper right corner of your Dynamics 365 customer engagement app, and then click on About. As you click here, you will see the latest version available for that was applied to your applications, and also will be the version for your Dataverse as well. All right, so so we just covered the service updates for the Dataverse. Now we have the service updates for all the Dynamics apps. So now, as I said, if you go through these links, you will see the latest version available for each package apps or first-party apps for the Dynamics environment. So you have the sales, you have customer service, you have the field service apps, and you can easily just go there if you want to see learn more about the deployment schedule of the service updates, and if you want to understand which latest updates has been applied to your app and when. So the same thing is here for the Power Apps and Power Automate. So feel free to go out there as well to check on, the service update for these components, if those are things that you leverage and you want to have more information about. So in the Power App sections, you will have the updates for Unified Interface, the Power Apps Studio, mobile, and the Power Apps Maker as well. So for the portal service update, so first, the portal consists of following components, which are the portal solutions and the portal website host. So as you might already know, the portal website host is typically updated automatically on a monthly basis to the latest versions. The portal solutions are updated by customers. So the Power Apps portal solution version, the latest one will be the 9.3 .10.x, which is now available. So for more information, make sure to kind of click the release notes to understand what updates has been pushed and have more description of what has been rolled out. All right, so for the Power BI desktop and Power BI server, what I will call out here is the Power BI monthly update video. It's very informative and recap all the updates for the month. So really, this is what I will encourage you to go watch, because you will actually have all and have the visual, and Microsoft engineers will be and product managers will be commenting on all the new updates and features that has occurred in the Power BI during that month, and they are all covered in the Power BI monthly update video. So that's the first thing, honestly, I will go look out when I look for be updated on all the updates that has landed into the Power BI and Power Server and Power BI desktop. You of course also have the links where you can, go and then read through all the updates that have occurred as well. All right, so there are a few portal preview features that have landed. Most of them are developer related. We won't go in details into each one of them, but there are very good ones that are there. We have they are all in public preview at this point. I will recommend you to actually use the link to go read the details, because there are a lot of good information that we won't be able to cover here in this specific session. But feel free to kind of go check on all the updates that are in the preview features, and make sure that you reach back to Microsoft if you want to have more details into each one of those portal updates. All right, so let's get into the product updates. We're just gonna start now into all the features and capability, new product capability that we have for the apps, after covering all the service updates and release wave. So what's new in terms of features into, and that goes into our Dataverse and our Dynamics 365 applications. So the first one that you have already noticed is the Dataverse search, right? So here is the full story. Relevant search is being optimized and rebranded as Dataverse search. So the new Dataverse search name is visible in the Power Platform Admin Center and the Power Apps Maker portal within the updated Solution Explorer, a new experience, which is also in public preview. So Dataverse search is enabled by default for all production environments only. When Dataverse search is enabled, the new search is the only search experience available for all the end users in model-driven apps. The Dataverse search remains an opt-in feature for non-production environments and environments using their own encryption keys. You can change the settings at any time in the Power Platform Admin Center at this point. There is a link here to understand why we are moving to Dataverse search, so I would recommend you to go read through it. But also you can check out a link on how to configure the Dataverse search for optimal usage. Some consideration to set up the Dataverse search for optimal usage will come with how to set up the index and searchable tables and fields to really optimize the search for your environment. We also recommend to review and validate the searchable fields of your custom table for search optimizations and index storage optimizations. So this will take some time to configure it, but the benefits will be appreciated long term. All right, so We also announced the immediate availability of the permission support for Dataverse with data source info and the new record info functions in Power Apps. So we're just gonna comment a little bit on those functions. So the first one is, of course, the Dataverse is a rich security model that allows for checking permissions at both table and record level. Right, and permission checking capability is part of the Power Apps connectors. At this point, the Dataverse is currently the only data source that supports the permissions features of these functions. The data source info is a function for table level checking. The data source info function allows an author to check for create, read, edit, and delete permissions on the data source table. The record info function for record is for record level checking. What is the common pattern comparing table permissions versus role checking? So checking for table permissions is a more common, simpler, and more resilient coding pattern than role checking. So if two different roles both grant right to a given table, then a simple check of table permissions works without having to update an app to check for additional roles. So if you need more details, I will direct you to the Power Apps blogs, which will give you good information there. But those are all good good instructions and good information to go check out on. We announced the general availability of the release of the large file and image support in Power Apps. So quickly here, files up to 128 megabytes and image up to 30 megabytes are supported. Some of the capability recommendation and recommendation here is form load performance works best if image size are in the 100, 400 kilobytes range, and larger size images work well in scenarios where the image is loaded after the form is already loaded. The galleries work best with the thumbnail images. Again, we have all the good explanations and details on the Power Apps blog, and we provided the link here for you. All right, so we also announced the general availability of the custom help pane in model-driven apps. The custom help pane feature gives your model-driven apps a custom in-product help experience that is tailored to your app. It is now general available, so really I would recommend you to go check the documentations and try to use it and see the benefits of it, but it's a pretty cool new feature in there as well. One of the most exciting features as well is going to be around the licensing. The Power Apps license announcement comes with the introduction of the pay-as-you-go for Power Apps. It's actually in public preview, right? It adds a more flexible way to pay for Power Apps and related Power Platform services. So globally, with the new pay-as-you-go plan, the customer only pay for what they use, and it gives them more flexibility to get started with low code, with low risk, and then scale their investment over time based on the usage patterns of their solutions. Pay-as-you-go is configured on an environment by environment basis. So you have the flexibility to adopt it wherever it makes sense for your organization, and stick with the prepaid model where it doesn't. I would recommend to watch the video that was made available at Ignite, and also the link we provide here, which is talking about some scenarios and provide some good example scenarios here. So another announcement that will be about the new entitlement limit for Power Apps for request limits and allocations. So Power Platform request limits exist to help ensure the service levels, availability, and quality of the platform. So how does it work here? So all the users of Microsoft Power Platform have limits on the number of requests based on the license they are assigned. You can check the licensed user request limits link for details here. It includes also the Power Apps pay as you go plan information. A separate limit is established for certain activities that do not require a user to interact with the service. So for that one, if you need the details, I will direct you to the non-licensed user request limits. Also, check out what happens if a licensed or non-licensed user exceed limits for more information, but more importantly, for the recommendations as well. So those are all good links to bookmark, especially if you want to learn more on the new entitlement limits. All right, so for the Power Apps portal, we announced the general availability of the Power Apps portal support for Microsoft Power Platform CLI with version 1.9.8 that was introduced in May 2021 release as a preview feature. So it provides the following capabilities: the Power Platform CLI comments for portal, upload portal data using deployment profile, and GitHub Actions support for Power Apps portal task. It is important to highlight the benefits and of the CLI, and I will direct you to the link where we have a good documentation here that will actually give you why we're doing this and the benefits of them, right? All right, so this is another really cool feature around Power Apps portal, where you can create multiple portal of the same type in your Dataverse environment. We are removing the one portal type limit per environment, so this is great. And we have also added some supported templates, and some more will be coming soon. So again, you will have all the details on this link if you want more details on what it entails, but this is a pretty good new capability that was added to the Power Apps portal. So another general availability here for when it comes to Power Automate is the Process Advisor, Application Analytics and Automations recommendations. It's made general available. It's now generally available. Sorry. Pretty much what it does is it allows you to gain more insights from recording by understanding application usage and turns insights into actions with recommended automations. This is the features that I haven't used yet, but I plan to do that. So I would recommend you to also check it out on the Power Automate blog. So the Power Automate desktop has we have come up with the feature summary of the October 2021. Those are things that you can, if you leverage the Power Automate desktop, I would recommend you to bookmark this link and then to also go check on all the cool features that have been released in October 2021. The same goes for the Power Automate Cloud flows as well. So the good things about that is monthly we put on the feature summary of this one So if you have missed 1 month, you can even go and check all the previous feature summary for the specific months, but this link will provide you the latest one for the October 2021. So the last one here in terms of new product capabilities that happen into the Power Platform area is about the Power BI. So we announced the general availability of the platform that powers Power BI Premium Experience, which is the next gen premium platform. So this new platform assures reliability, will give you a simple low overhead administration, and we introduce the auto scale, an optional add-on providing automatic temporary upscaling to address the ever dynamic demand for computing power. So we encourage all owners of premium capabilities to leverage this next-gen platform as soon as possible. And see all the improvements that we have added today in this new Power BI premium platform area. So again, it will take too long to go into all the details and all the good stuff that comes into the premium platform, but this is there is a way. If you want to, if you use that link that is on this tank, you can review the specific articles to comment questions you have about the planning your transition, determine capacity size, and managing the premium capacities as well. All right, so after covering all the service updates, release wave, and new features on the Power Platform and Dynamics 365 apps area, I know there is a lot, but take your time to go and then check them and reach back out to us if you have any further questions. I will give the floor to Brent for the finance and operations side.
Okay, thanks, Jess. So with finance and operations, first I'd like to talk a little bit about the service update availability. So version 10.0.22 is the most recent generally available update. There will not be an update in our November month. So we'll pick it up again with 10.0.23 going generally available in December. If you are part of the P program, 10.0.23 is available for testing at this time. And with that, a reminder, with service updates, they can be up to 3 versions behind. Auto updates will always take you to the newest version. And with quality updates, we have available those available for the current version and one previous version. Next slide, please. The next thing we like to talk about is a couple of the updates or a couple of the features that are coming. One of them that is going to help customers that want a little bit more control over their batch process. We now in version 10.0.22, the batch functionality now exposes an OData API that can be used to requeue batch jobs. So with this, customers can use this endpoint to requeue batch jobs that are in a terminal state. So if you have anything such as Power Automate or a custom, anything custom, you can call this API to control the status of those particular batch jobs. So this is huge, and it allows you to do some of that control outside of finance and operations. You don't have to go necessarily into the interface to control those batch statuses. Next slide, please. A couple client feature updates that we'd like to make you aware of. One of them, the first one, is in document management parameters. There is an option to open attachments in a new window. This will determine if attachments are opened in place or in a new window or tab. So this is especially relevant if you're using the SharePoint integration for storing attachments, as this will prevent the finance and operations user session from resetting when opening these attachments. The other feature that, and both of these are going to be available in the 10.0.23 release. The other one is the auto resize a grid column to fit content. So similar to how Excel works, users can automatically force a column to resize based on the content currently shown in that column. And you can do this by simply double clicking on the sizing handles of the column, or by putting focus on the column header and pressing Control A for auto fit. Next slide, please. Another feature, if you are a process manufacturing customer, we now have the ability to use the enhanced production floor execution interface. So any of these process manufacturers or manufacturers that need to report on batch orders can now take advantage of this new production floor execution interface. Workers can use this to report progress of batch orders, including reporting on co-products and byproducts. Next slide, please. And the last feature we'd like to make you aware of is there's going to be an option for creating invoice lines based off of a parameter in accounts payable. So this will simplify the process of creating lines on an accounts payable invoice. When purchase order has been partially invoiced, it's possible that the invoice contains limited header information along with subtotals. This feature enables the system to create the line items automatically when these invoices are imported. It'll validate the information to avoid creating lines erroneously, and it'll also allow for importing the same lines at different times. So a nice feature, if there'll be a parameter, and this will be in January timeframe, where especially if you're importing invoices, this will allow for the system to figure out automatically how to create those invoice lines. And with that, I'll go back to Gilles to talk about some of our learning opportunities.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Brent. So let's cover some of the learning corners. So I like the learning corner section because we usually reference new blog posts that offer quick tips, guidance, and best practices. So pretty much it covers real life scenarios and challenges that engineering has been able to overcome, and then we're just gonna share best way to approach some of the things here. Can save you time in some of your task accomplishments. So for the Power Apps, there are the three Power Apps tips and guidance that we have provided here. So the first one is about if submitting dates and time data matters in terms of how you submit them. So the answer is yes. Now, if you want to have all the details, I recommend to go to check the scenarios and then, learn from there the best practice and the way to approach it. It's a very well documented. The second one is about troubleshooting Canvas app. This is the part one. There will be more more parts to it, but at least the first one will be helping you to kind of understanding and onboarding on how to some of the troubleshooting approach that we use when it comes to identifying issues into the Canvas app and resolving them. So again, I would recommend you here to use the link and then check the scenarios and also the best practices that we provide here. The third one is about the app .start screen. So a new declarative alternative to navigate in app .onStart is here. So if you want to learn more on that, and if you use it in some of your apps, so make sure that you go and check the updates that and the guidance that we provide at this section as well. So very good learning pointers here. So feel free to go there and reach out back to Microsoft if you have any questions. Thank you. So I'm gonna shift it to Brent to cover the finance and operation apps side of the things.
Okay, thanks, Sales. Within our blog site, our AX in the Field blog site, there are several new updates this month. I encourage you to go out and visit that site. 3 I'd like to showcase this month that are very interesting. One of them by Samuel talks about the changes that are coming with regards to managed UAT environments. So within LCS, Lifecycle Services, we auto updates for all Microsoft managed sandboxes will now be covered, where in the past we were just covering our production and selected sandbox environments. Now any sandbox environments will receive our auto updates. With the updated additional sandbox environments, we're extending this so that there was no longer, in the past, it was a manual process for these additional environments that the customer had to go out and maintain. Now we'll be doing those just like we would do with the production environment. The other blog article by couple by Syed that I'd like to showcase this month. One is around the tips for improving a import project. So that's obviously data integration is a key success factor to most implementations. A primary concern of customers is around the speed of doing this import, especially where there's a vast amount of data that we're trying to bring in a small amount of time. In this blog article, Syed goes through some of the top 5 ways to improve performance around those. So I'd encourage you to go check that article out. And the last one by Syed also is around performance once again. And this has to do with the modern point of sale and the cloud point of sale. So if you're using our commerce platform, there's ways that you can increase performance of the search functionality for products and customers by enabling the cloud-powered customer search feature. And Syed goes through in detail how this works. With this enhancement, you'll easily be able to switch their current customer search experience from SQL-based search to a cloud-powered search. So I encourage you to check out those blog articles along with the other ones that are new this month. And next slide, please. Also on our learning side, the Fast Track Tech Talks are a great way to catch up on certain features. And there's the first slide here showcases the upcoming events. So there's several out there. It gives the event a hyperlink to the event and in the time frame of those. Those are also going to be recorded. So the next slide goes through some of our past ones that are available and the links to those. So if we want to maybe switch to the next one there for me now. These are the recorded Fast Track sessions. So if you missed any and you want to go back and consume that data, these are the links to those sessions. There's some great ones on commerce out here recently and some that are coming up in the future. Also one that does a great job of talking about the inventory visibility add-in, so which allows you to expose the on-hand quantities of inventory and finance and operations outside of finance and operations. So that also allows you to bring in external data into that so you can get a full view of that. But encourage you to go out, check those out. Great sessions and a lot of good content out there. And with that, I will hand it back to Ryan to wrap us up for today.
All right, thanks, Brent. Thanks, Gilles. Thanks, Brent, for doing all the presenting today, and thanks to Tom for helping to moderate. Just a couple reminders. One, we do have the slide deck available that we presented here, so you can download that. There's a link in the Q&A in the meeting. You can get that information. Also out there will be the link to the recording of this webcast, both the the video, and we'll have an audio recording of this. And then you can also get that information on the blogs that are linked on this last slide here. One other mention. We're now offering a dedicated delivery of this technical update briefing. So if you would prefer to have a dedicated delivery to yourself and your team from a customer engineer, that is available now, and where you can ask questions live and just kind of have a full meeting around that. We do have that available. So please reach out to your Microsoft representative if you are interested in that. So with that, I think that wraps up the November technical update briefing for us. Thanks for everyone for joining, and we'll catch you next time.